Hi, kindergartners. Good morning. This week we're going to be learning about a special insect, and I'm going to give you 3 clues and figure out if you know what insect we're going to be talking about. So the first clue I have is that this insect flies up to 15 miles per hour. So it's a little bit slower than when mom and dad are driving in town. Okay? This insect never sleeps. And my very last clue is that we actually eat something that this insect produces. So I want you to think if you know what could we be talking about this week. If you guess bees, you're right. This week we're going to be talking about bees. So I'm going to be reading some nonfiction stories. Remember, nonfiction gives us facts. And I'm also going to be reading some stories about bees that are fiction. So they're made up. But they might be realistic fiction, which means it seems like they could be giving some facts, but it's mostly made up. And the first story that we're going to read is a factual book about bees. And if you want to look this book up, you can. And it'll be on Epic. You can get on Epic, and there's lots of books about bees. But we're going to read one today together. Our book that we're going to start off is found on Epic, and you can reread this if you would like to. So this book is called Bees by Grace Hanson. And this is going to give us facts because it's nonfiction. Now remember, in nonfiction, there are certain things that we can look for that are called key features. And we're going to look for some of these when we read our story today. So let's get started. It says bees. Bees are insects. Ants, beetles, and butterflies are insects too. We get a nice picture of a bee. Bees live in many places. You can even find them in your backyard. Many bees have black and yellow stripes. Some bees are hairy. Bees have 3 main body parts. The head. Oh, look, they even labeled our diagram. Thorax. And the abdomen. Bees have 6 legs and 4 wings. They have 5 eyes and 2 antennas. So over here it shows us where all their eyes are. I did not know that they had 5 eyes. Let's count them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So they have 2 big eyes and 3 little eyes. And here are their antennae. Bees have a special mouth part. It looks like a straw. It's right there. You can kind of see it. Ouch! Watch out! All female bees have a stinger. So we see this stinger right here, and females are the ones that have them. That means girl bees. It's a big stinger. Bee homes. Some bees live alone. Other bees live in large groups called colonies. Colonies live in nests or beehives. So right here we have a beehive, and this is called a colony of bees. Bees help the earth. Bees carry pollen from flower to flower. Some bees produce honey for us to eat. So some bees make honey for us. Not all bees, but some do. And all bees carry pollen from flower to flower. We're going to talk a little bit about that this week. Oh, and back here, that's the end of our story, but back here we have some of those features that we talked about in nonfiction texts we find. So we have a glossary, and remember, a glossary is kind of like a dictionary. It has those bolded words in the story, and those bolded words can be found in the back of the book, and it kind of tells you what those mean. So let's look at some of these because there are some of these I don't think. So thorax, we see in the picture where it is, but in the back of the book, thorax is defined right here. Thorax is the middle part of an insect's body. So all insects have a thorax. Okay? So we have a glossary. And we don't have an index in this one. We have a more facts. And at the beginning, we didn't have a table of contents, but we did have a glossary. So it did have one of the pieces, one of the features that we look for in nonfiction text. Now I want to talk about some things back here. It said that word pollination, which is something we talked about in science class. We talked about that bees are pollinators and they move the pollen around and kind of help flowers to bloom. We're going to be talking about that a little bit this week. Tomorrow we're going to read a story, and our story is about, going to be a fiction text, but it's going to have bees in it. And then we're going to go back to a nonfiction. And I'm really excited because one of the books we're going to be reading this week actually answers a lot of the questions that little kids have about bees. So if you have any questions about bees, you feel free to write your teacher, or you can also write to Miss Shiner, and I will see if I can answer your questions.